Hey, y'all. On today's podcast, we help Kenny choose an idea and find a direction for his online business.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now, we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again this week. Super excited to help another real member of the Flip Your Life community take their online dream to the next level. And our guest today is Flip Your Life community member Kenny Embry. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yes, we are excited to talk to you today and learn a little bit more about you and what you are doing online. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about your background. And I know you've been a member of our community for a while, so let's kind of delve into that a little bit as well.
Sure. Yeah. My name's Kenny. I'm a college professor. I teach. I'm right outside of Tampa. I've got my PhD in communication, and one of the things that I've learned a long time ago, I love teaching. I love what I do, and I have that passion for helping other people achieve a goals. And one of the things that is interesting to me, and it has been interesting to me, is how traditional mass media has changed a lot. My kids don't understand what ABC, CBS, or NBC was or are today. They understand YouTube. And one of the things that I get as a college professor, and this is kind of in my background as well, I have a background in television, but one of the things that we knew back then was the viewership is going away, and it's going online. And one of the things that I know as both a communication professional, but also as somebody who has 4 kids, and I've got a 17-year-old daughter, and I'm guessing she's probably going to get married at some point. And probably she's going to want dad to pay for the wedding, and I don't know how to do that yet. So
That's a good reason to start an online business.
Yes,
right there.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. So anyway, and you wanted to know about my membership with you guys?
Yeah, like how long have you been in the Flip Your Life community, and like what have you done so far? Have you gotten started online? Have you started a website? Are you selling anything? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I joined the community probably about 2 years ago, and I joined the community about 2 years ago. And that's where I am. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, I haven't really started anything.
Something tells me that you are not alone.
Yes.
I know I'm not. Yeah.
If you spend any time in the forums at all, you probably know there's a lot of people struggling to get stuff going.
Yes.
Tell me this. Let me back up one more step.
Sure.
All right. So where did you hear about us? And then why did you join the community? And then we'll talk about what's happened over the past couple of years.
Sure. Well, I mean, I started like a lot of people do. I started listening to Pat Flynn, and I thought he was fabulous, and he had these guests on, and they were amazing, and they were named Shane and Jocelyn, and I thought those are 2 Kentucky people that I can relate to because I'm also from Kentucky, and they're doing things that I am kind of in the middle of. You guys have kids. I've got kids. You're in education, and I'm in education, and you're interested in starting something, or you did. You were starting something that I thought, I could do that. That's something that I could do. And then I started kind of floundering when it came to, okay, what is that thing I'm going to do again?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So you join the community. You're in there. Now, the community, for people who have not been inside the Flip Your Life community, we have 3 main areas inside the community. We have a course and training area that we call the Flip Your Life Blueprint. So that's step by step, the exact path we followed to quit our jobs in 13 months, plus a lot of other supplemental trainings that we've kind of added along the way. We have a forum place where you can go ask questions, celebrate successes, where you can take action and get accountability. And then we have our member call area where we have member calls twice a month where we can answer questions in real time for our community. So you're in the community. Yes, all that stuff is available to you.
Right.
Why have you not done that yet? Like what's like what that's my, like what do you think it is that's holding you that and you're in the community, so you're clearly enjoying it, the community, the questions and all that stuff. Yes. But like, why aren't you taking action on the things that are in there?
I second guess myself. I second guess myself all the time. I think, okay, would I pay for this? If with this idea, and one of the ideas that I've had in the past was Christian public speaking, and I've got that Christian bent to just about all my ideas. and it kind of marries my training in public speaking and also my passion for Christianity. And one of the things about that is I sit there thinking, I don't know that I would pay for that. And I don't know. I know that I can get an audience because I have an audience every semester.
Right.
But I don't know how to get an audience by myself that well. And why haven't I gone through the training modules? Pick the day. And I think one of the things that's happened to me is life has passed me by as I was picking people up from gymnastics or picking, it's just that one thing after another thing after another thing. And I haven't made the time because I realize that's what it is. It's making the time rather than because the time gets away from you so quickly because there's always something to fill it with.
Yeah, sure. I have a feeling, Kenny, that you are kind of like me and you have a tendency to overthink everything.
Yes.
No,
I hear a lot of overthinking. Yeah, right. First of all, let me tell you this analogy, okay? Because I heard this analogy the other day, and it makes me so happy when I get to share this analogy because Jocelyn loves my corny analogies.
Oh, yeah, they're my favorite. My favorite.
So, like, you know how how they cook popcorn like at a ball game or like a movie theater? There's the pot at the top, and they pour all the kernels on the top, and then all of the popcorn flows out of the popcorn machine.
You forgot the oil.
And the oil. Got to put the oil in.
There you go.
So all of the kernels are cooked at the same temperature, in the same oil, in the same machine. And they're all started at the exact same time. But they all pop differently. Like the first kernel comes out first and the last kernel comes out last. And it may take a while for all the kernels to even pop. But they all, even though all the resources are right there available for every kernel to pop, some pop fast and some pop slow. So, first of all, don't be discouraged. You're just a late popping kernel. That's all it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's all it is. Like, you're just one of the kernels that was like, yeah, I'm going to chill here. I'm going to sit in this hot tub of oil and just enjoy my relaxing time inside the popcorn machine. And then I'm going to blow up and I'm going to fill out. Okay. So that confidence. I want you right now. It's 2020. It's a new year. It's a new decade.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about it anymore. Okay. But second thing I want to say is, bro, you're trying to eat the elephant. You're trying to swallow the entire elephant whole. Like in 30 seconds, you basically told me every possible objection. You're like, I don't know if anyone will buy this. What do I charge for it? I don't have time. Like you're looking at all the things you have to do over the next couple years to make this successful instead of saying, what's next?
Right.
What's the one thing that I can do today to go forward? Maybe I've got 30 minutes at the coffee shop today. What's the one thing to do today? So if we can really just those two things, I think, before we get like deep into these tactical and strategic things we want to talk about on how to move forward, like one, don't feel bad about it. You've been in the community, you've been at member calls, you've seen it's all there. You're experienced with that stuff. You've probably piddled here and there with everything, and you can use those skills now going forward to build what you're going to build. And two, like we've got to get you focused on one day at a time. Like when people are stressed out, you can't look at a year from now. Like I love people who are like, what's your decade goals? Where are you going to be in 10 years? I'm like, I've got 2 kids that are 11 and 8. I don't know where I'm going to be next week. Right. Like I'm not sitting here trying to think that far ahead. So if we can do those two things, I think it's going to be like a lot more productive going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
You know, I'm a kind of person that I can poke holes in pretty much anything. So like if you tell me something, I can be like, well, you know, this is probably going to happen or that's probably going to happen. And so you kind of have to pull yourself back a little bit from that way of thinking. I like to call it being practical. Shane often calls it being negative.
I like to say, Jocelyn, I always look at the glass half full, and Jocelyn always looks at the glass half empty. But by golly, you pour them in a glass, and we're full. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what we're going to do going forward. Okay?
Yeah. So, I got to tell you, I appreciate people, but I'm not one of these people. The ready, fire, aim. I'm a ready, aim.
And then you might even go back to ready a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But here's I got more analogies. This is gonna be the best episode ever, Jocelyn.
Oh,
There's
my
gonna be so
goodness.
many analogies. Like it's like you're aiming the bow and arrow, but here's the thing. I rigged it, and the arrow's on a string that has to go to the bullseye. You just got to let go. You've got to loose the arrow, right? Yeah. Like you've got the path. I assume you've got multiple ideas, and you can't figure out which one you think would work, right? Because that's what a lot of people's problem is. They get stuck on too much opportunity, right?
Bingo.
And
Well,
we just
and
had
you
figure
want
out
to
what do
find
next.
the perfect one, because I know this because we're alike.
Yes. Always looking for
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't want to waste time, and don't the irony of this is not lost on me. I don't want to waste time doing something that's wrong, but I will waste time making sure that I'm not wasting time.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well, you've been wasting 2 years. You could have tried
I
4
know.
things, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly right.
And that's what we have to do.
So this is the story of my life. I'm always like looking for the best way to do something, or trying not to make mistakes. And probably if I had tried to do this on my own, I would have never released a product now. And
you're right,
Shane was like, "You're doing it. You're making it. Like, even if it's not perfect, you're putting it out there."
So
and
that's what I'm telling you today. You're doing it. You're putting it out there, even if it's not perfect. By the end of the show, you're going to come up with an idea. You ready?
Okay.
Let's rock and roll
Sounds
here.
good.
Because
Okay.
as an instructor, you know that the way that we learn is by making mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that I'm trying to get, I would love to teach is what I call intentional low stakes failure. It's that idea, and there's an assignment that I have in one of my classes where the students cannot win, and the idea is you have to lose. You have to lose this in order to learn something. But most people are at the point where they think, I don't want to lose. I can't lose this, and you just like, no, you really do have to lose.
That's right.
Because that's when you learn. That's when you learn something.
Let me tell you this too. Like,
Okay.
imagine a student came to you in May, and they're
Okay.
about to graduate,
Uh-huh.
and you were like, "Wait a minute, where's your final paper?" And they're like, I've just really want to wait until this is perfect. I wanted to make sure that I picked the right topic. I wanted to make sure that I really researched it and figured it all out, and I wanted to make sure that when I handed you this paper, that it would be guaranteed to be an A+. So could you just wait a couple years and give me my graduation?
And can you give me a few examples so I can read through them and make sure I'm not doing the wrong thing?
Can you imagine the audacity of that you would think of a kid that did that to you in your classroom? And now you're literally like right now doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I know. Although my students are all writing the paper the night before, so I'm not.
Well, let's consider this the night before. This is the night before. We're ready to write your paper.
And I like how you refer to them as kids, like any college students who are listening
anyone under
to
25 is now.
I'm 50 years old. I mean,
I'm 42. I'm going to be.
Yeah,
42,
there you go. I mean,
the other day we were driving on a college campus, and all these students, I almost called them kids, were walking by, and Shane was like, "Did we look that young?"
We look that young?
I'm like,
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We totally did. You just think you're so grown up, but you're not.
No.
All right, so let's pivot here a little bit. This might go a little different direction than normal, because now you do have a website. I see it's called balancingthechristianlife.com. Is that more of just a blog right now?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not really much of anything. It was an idea that I had for one of the things that I thought about doing, but I didn't really populate. It's got dummy text in there right now. There's not really any content in it. So I mean, basically, what I was trying to figure out was, how do you use the WordPress tools? Because WordPress is I know WordPress is the standard, and I don't think Squarespace or one of those is my platform, but I don't understand how WordPress really works.
Sure.
And I was experimenting with templates and things like that. And that's
if you we're putting some new trainings in the Flip Your Life community right now about Kajabi. It's actually an easier platform. It's not like Squarespace, where it's actually designed to create blogs, create websites, and really create like sales funnels, email marketing, and things like that. And if technology is getting in your way, if anybody wants to check that out, you can go to fliplifestyle.com/Kajabi, Kajabi. You can check out Kajabi. We use it for one of our businesses, my monthly newsletter, Prolific Monthly. We're thinking about switching everything over to it. Yeah. Because what's happened over the last few years, things like WordPress, which are still amazing, it's still the biggest, baddest, you can do anything, whatever you can imagine can be created with WordPress. But these other platforms like Kajabi are starting to say, hey, we can help people build a website in one click. Hey, we can help people set up a sales page in one click. Right. Oh, by the way, we can also manage your opt-ins and your email marketing. We can just do that all in one platform. And it's becoming a lot. The platforms themselves are becoming a lot more ubiquitous, because really, man, all you got to do is deliver content and take a credit card. Like, if you can do those two things, you're good. Yeah. So you might want to look at a different like platform for your technology, since you haven't really went like down the rabbit hole here. Now, let
No.
me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Give me like your three, what you think are your biggest ideas or the things that light your fire the most. Like, and tell me about each of those real quick.
Well, one of my ideas was helping basically preachers, especially younger preachers, who often have an uncritical audience because they're starting out at usually smaller congregations where they're always going to hear encouraging words, but they're never going to hear any critical words. In other words, how do you get better at this, especially when all the feedback that you're getting is incredibly positive, but not incredibly helpful? And so one of the things that I was thinking about, I mean, kind of marries my background in public speaking, and it helps me help them. I can see the obvious value there.
So public speaking for preachers, basically?
Maybe, well, I mean, preachers or anybody who has to do something in a public speaking context.
Worship director or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because often people, when they start out, they're starting out in very small venues. And so they will learn the people, which is very important in my opinion, but they won't learn how to become a better communicator.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep. And they want to, and that'll create more opportunities for them in their congregation and beyond that if they go anywhere else. Okay?
Bingo.
All right. So we'll say public speaking for church settings right now. Okay. All right. What's another idea that you've had that you've been stuck on?
Well, and this is one that, again, it goes down that Christian rabbit hole, which is, I think, just part of my wheelhouse. And that's the idea of spiritual growth. And one of the things that I've been developing a series, and this is something that I was thinking about using as a speaking gig or something, just talking about how do you intentionally decide to grow spiritually? Because I can think of guys that I know that are, older, 60, 70, 80, and I don't think of them as spiritually mature. But I do know people who are in those age ranges that I do. And I think that the people that when I look at them and I think that's somebody that I really want to be like, it appears to me that they're doing something very intentional. And I've been kind of studying those people because I think there are three basic metrics that we have for Christianity. It's how long have you been calling yourself a Christian? How often do you go to church? And how much money do you contribute in the plate? And I think those are three good metrics, but they don't tell the whole story. Because I think one of the things that's really important is how do you intentionally decide to become a Christian that is growing?
So basically the result would be you want to be a Christian that is an example for other people, and I'm going to show you how to get there.
Well,
right?
but also how if you are somebody who is leading a congregation, how do you start managing people in such a way that they're actually growing? Does that make sense?
Yep. So this would also be geared toward the church leadership director.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's another idea that you have?
Well, I think another idea that I've always had is basically, again, that communication, just how to get over your fears of public speaking. And the public speaking class is one that I've taught forever. And it's one of those, I know that it's a big fear of everyone.
Yep.
And I'm not there are 1,000 ways to do this, and I found one way that I think works really well. And it's something that I know how to do. Okay.
I can tell you right now, just from researching this, the easiest thing would be the public speaking. Okay. And then there's no reason that you couldn't create a general public speaking course,
right? And
then turn it, and then have what would you call it, Jocelyn? Like a module in your community or whatever for preachers and worship people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's like, because I have a couple metrics that I do to look for a good idea. When people come to us, and if anybody's listening right now, you can do this too. So the first thing that I always do is I look and see if other people are even looking for this thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go to like Amazon.com, okay? Mm-hmm. And I will say, hey, has anyone written a book about public speaking? So I'll type that in. Yeah. I'm going to write that down, public speaking. You can literally hear me typing. I'm going to type that in. I'm going to change it to books. I'm not going to go to all. I'm going to go to books, okay? And I can tell you right now that there have been 20,000 books written on this topic. And I would say all of them are individual. They got their own plans, but there's tons of books about this. And when I look here, when I find that, so basically someone has created a product, and a book is not an easy thing to create. right?
Yeah.
So someone's put a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort to get this thing to market. And this book has 133 reviews, which means it's had sales. This book has 10 reviews. This book has 340 reviews, 133 reviews, 552 reviews. So hundreds and hundreds of people are clearly buying resources on how to become a better public speaker. Another thing that I do then on Amazon is I'll click it and I'll look at the frequently bought together, right? So check this out. If you look at Talk Like TED, which is a TED Talk book, how to write a speech like a TED Talk, and then there's two other books, TED Talks and Speak Without Fear. Those are often bundled together. So people are literally buying more than one of this resource. They want new voices to come to them and say, yes, teach me how to do this, right?
Yeah.
And then the next thing I do is I'll go to Google. I'll just go over to Google, the actual search engine, not like a fancy keyword tool or anything like that. And I'm actually doing this live on air here for your business. Okay.
Oh, great.
And I'll type in public speaking. So we have already verified that other people have successfully created products in this space and sold them. Okay. Right. So there are definitely creators and customers doing this. So now I'll type in public speaking into Google. And here's what happens. It's an amazing thing. I look for one key metric. Okay. Are there ads on these search results? Because here's what that means. That means that someone not only created a product, not only sold a product to customers, but made so much money, they went and bought ads to sell more of them. Right? So you actually have people investing in selling more of a product. And of course, this one, Public Speaking Skills, has tons of ads. It's got there's one at the very top. Actually, there's two at the top and there's three at the bottom. That means that there's a lot of people out there trying to do this, multiple people. And competition in the current way that the internet marketing works is the best thing you can ever find.
Right.
That means there's a pie. You just need a piece of the pie.
Right.
Okay. So I can confirm as a Flip Your Life community leader and have seen thousands of businesses and done hundreds of people's audits and research. Like, there is definitely a market here, and you have an unfair advantage. You are a professor of communication. You can tout that. You've taught hundreds of students how to be better at public speaking. You've got what you feel is your unique way. You've got your own unique presentation, your own unique voice. It's just a matter now of, will you create the thing and try to sell it?
And does that mean that you can't put a Christian spin on it? No, absolutely not. Like, you can put whatever spin you want to on it. I think that actually even makes it stronger. But it's just a matter of, okay, choosing something. We know that direction has people looking for it. We know that people are making money there. So that might be a good place to start.
So your next step is not to build a brand and design a website. And it's not to do all of, it's not to set up email marketing. It's not even to sign up for a Kajabi. It's not even to start a Facebook. It's not all that. Forget the elephant, right?
Okay.
The only thing that matters is, do you have a product that you can sell right now? That's it. You literally just have to record 3 modules for your course. If you would just do that, here's what will happen. If you just focus over the next couple of weeks on just laying this out and saying, I need to record this product. Because if I have a product, then I can go and build a sales page for the product and an order form for the product. Shoot, then I could tell people that I know about the product. Well, at that point, I need to create some content. And then my content will market for me. And then I need to start social media. And then I need to do the marketing. And then I need to do the next thing. But what all comes down to is, will you make the product? Can you set aside 3 hours in the next 2 weeks to simply look into a camera and do what you've done in front of a classroom every day for however many years you've been teaching? Teach this thing about public speaking straight into the camera, no PowerPoints, nothing, and have the videos that we can then sell. That's it. You've got a 3-hour task in the next 2 weeks, and all of a sudden the domino starts falling over. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Right. So does that feel overwhelming now to you? Right. Like everything else. Like, I know there's 50 courses in the Flip Your Life community. You only need one, the product course. That's it.
That sounds much more doable to me.
Right. Now, what scares you about that? What do you think? What are some obstacles or fears that you think could creep up along the way there?
Sure. How am I going to deliver this? Should I do this in a podcast or should I do this on YouTube? And if I'm going to do this on YouTube, what gear should I use? And what
Stop.
do you aim?
All right. Are any of those questions, right? Like that's what Jocelyn was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Are any of those questions record the product? No. There's no reason to ever think about those questions until you have a product that you can sell, because all those things point to the product. So I read this Japanese proverb the other day, and I'm going to totally butcher this, but here's basically what it said. If it's something I can solve, I shouldn't worry about it. And if it's something that can't be solved, there's no reason to worry about it, right? And so there's really no reason to worry about any of that stuff because it's irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. Like the thing you can solve now is you can talk into your camera 3 times 30 minutes each. You can outline exactly like you would be in front of a class, and you can deliver that. You now have a course on public speaking taught the way you would teach it to your class that you can. Now the next step would be, well, how do I sell this? But that's the next step. There's absolutely no reason to even think about it right now because you haven't created the first step yet.
And by that point, you're going to have some lead magnets in exchange for people's email address, which means that you will have people there to ask, hey, here are some things that I'm considering. I'm considering making a podcast. I'm considering having a YouTube channel. I'm considering writing blog posts. Which one would be the most beneficial for you and why?
Right. So we can start marketing the thing, get a few people in the thing. Like I'm guessing that there might even be students or people around your community where you could sell this one-on-one. Almost, right? And then you'll have more data. But the only way to build an online business successfully is to take your next best step and do it and do that thing. And what is good? Don't look at a month, a year, shrink down to be what do I need to do in the next hour? The next hour is, how am I going to record this? I'm going to download one piece of software, Camtasia, that can record this. That's it. That's the next step. What's the next step? What kind of microphone am I going to use? I'm going to order the Audio Technica 2100 $50 microphone on Amazon, and that's the microphone I'm going to use. I'm just going to pick. And then what's the next step? I'm going to outline the first module, and then I'm going to record it. And then we just keep taking those next steps, and all that other stuff doesn't even matter. Like all those fears that are right there waiting for you, don't even deal with them yet because they're not even up to bat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, we're in total coming down hard on Kenny mode right now. So okay. So that.
So you wanted to be on the podcast?
Yeah. Johnson was like, well, all right, we need someone who's just starting out. We need it. Kenny's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm in. Yeah. Let's go. But so all right, now with that out of the way. All right. So let me say this. You are not allowed to say anything that it does not involve recording the courses. Okay. So now thinking about that again, what obstacles do you think there's going to be?
Not anything that I can't handle. I mean,
exactly. That's it.
Doesn't it seem much less daunting when you think of it that way?
You're right. Yes, it does. It does feel much less daunting. It seems like a nut I can crack because I know now. I'm thinking about what time do I do it? I'll do it after everybody's gone to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
so, I
Go
feel
ahead.
like right now, Kenny, at this point, you really need an accountability partner of some sort.
Bingo. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that you can probably find one within the community. I think you just need to post, and you need someone who's opposite you. So we talk about this a lot. If you are a doer, you need a dreamer. And so I think that's probably the boat that you find yourself in. You need somebody to push you out of the boat and make it happen, because you're probably not going to do that yourself. You need to set goals for yourself, and you need to say, okay, I need to have this product created no later than say January 21st or 31st or whatever. And you need to have some accountability and some meaningful accountability behind those
I tell you what I would do if I were you right now, because if you really I used to coach football, and I always had teams that there was always, every team wanted to win. Yeah, but I always knew when I had a team that was going to win because they were willing to show up in the spring, and they were willing to show up and do the work in the summer, and they were the ones that were watching the film and doing those extra things that you need. They didn't just want to win. Everybody wants to win, right? But they really want to win. and they really felt like something was on the line. I would love for you to take your 17-year-old daughter out to coffee, or, just take her out to eat one night, or even just sit down with her today at some point and be like, hey, you're not going to get this right now, but I just want to tell you something. I want to give you the best wedding that a man could ever give his daughter. I mean, someday, not right now, you're 17, you're not thinking about that right now, but I know someday you're going to get married, and I just really want to throw you the best party possible. And to do that, I'm going to create a product, and I'm going to try to sell it on the internet, and I'm going to try to start making money right now so that I can start building. This may not be the thing that gives you that wedding, but I just want to tell you that I'm going to put in the work, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to give myself a chance to give that to you. And I want you to say that to her, and I want you to promise that to her, because if you tell her that, you're going to make it happen. You ain't going to look. I know I got a little girl. I'm not going to look at my baby girl's eyes and tell her that and not die trying. I may not make it, but I'm going to die trying. Right?
I understand. Yeah.
And that would be a huge thing, man, if you could just share this dream with her. And now it's not just you, right? And
Right.
and then you've got somebody to tell, hey, I got the course done. Now I got to take the next step. Pretty cool. You ready for your wedding? You can just you can, but do something.
Let's not marry her off just yet.
Yeah,
no,
it's just yeah, no, right. As long as we can keep them, right? But it's accountability with consequence. It's accountability that matters. If random people can help support you, but you really need something on the line, and it needs to be public, right? Maybe you don't tell her. Maybe you tell someone else. You know what I'm saying, like a friend or whatever. But go down that road, and let's. I'll hold you accountable too. I think within 30 days you should have this recorded. I fully expect that of you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and you have all of the resources. I mean, they're right there in front of you in our community.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. I have those resources. I have all the hardware too. I mean, as a college professor, I've got to have this stuff at the house.
And you already know what you're going to say because you've taught it in class.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: Are you guys on? We're recording this on New Year's Day, 2020. Yeah. Are you on break right now?
Until the 6th.
Well, that sounds like plenty of time to record a course or two. Or at least get
5
started.
days.
I think the first module could definitely be done before you went back to class.
Lead magnet, first module.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
So that'll be our challenge for you, Kenny, is to go into the community, and in the action plan forum, I want you to say, hey, I just talked to Shane and Jocelyn on the podcast. I know now that I have to create a course. Here's why I'm doing it. And then tell your story. Okay. And then say, I am going to have one 20 to 30 minute module recorded, even if it's not perfect, before I go back to school. And that you're going to say the log jam's going to break open.
You're also going to post, I'm looking for an accountability partner. But in the event that no one responds, you're not going to just give up and say, oh, well, nobody responded.
If only that magic person had showed up in that forum.
No.
I'd have found my way through.
You're going to pursue one. Even if it's in your personal life, you're going to find somebody who's going to push you. Even we know people who have written checks, so they'll write a big check, for an amount they can afford, but is a little bit painful for them. And they'll tell somebody, hey, if I don't have
if this isn't done by that day, you cash the check, and you hand it to them, and it leaves. And you're like, oh gosh, I got to do that, and then you cancel it before they get to do it.
So you find a way to have accountability, even if it's not the way you originally imagined.
Yeah, but I think your dream is big enough, and I think your goal is sound enough. And also the understanding this isn't the thing that's going to blow everything up. It's just the next thing, and it's going to evolve. And but once you give birth to it, it can evolve and grow. And that's really what we're trying to get you to right now. Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Awesome. We put you in the hot seat, bro. That's what we did.
It was fine, man. It's fine. I'm sitting here thinking about who could be my accountability person, because I'm thinking about a couple of buddies of mine. I mean, when you're in academia, you're supposed to write.
Yep.
And so it's a lot of deadline driven stuff.
You have world-class credentials, dude, to do this. Everybody else, let me tell you something. Like 80% of people that are probably out there teaching public speaking are people that have spoken publicly 10 times, and they just decided to make a course on it. But you're Kenny. the guy with the actual PhD. Like it's so funny.
We always joke about that.
Joke about that. We're like, you don't need a PhD to start an online business.
You have one.
You have a PhD, bro. Like you literally have the PhD. So now you get to win with the PhD,
Yeah, I understand that. I tell you what, though, I mean, getting the PhD, the whole process, it teaches you how stupid you are. That's I mean, that's the thing about it is you just realize I don't know so much.
Yes. Well, all these other people don't either, and they need you to teach them because this fear is paralyzing someone from moving forward, and they need you to pick up your stone and throw it so you can ripple out and hit them. Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
That's another reason for you to do it. There's people out there that need you.
All right, Kenny, I think that we have made a lot of progress today, and I'm very excited to see what you can do in the next 5 days and in the next year. I know that you're going to get this done. So let's talk about an action step, something that you're going to do in the next day or so based on what we talked about today.
Well, I think one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to call a buddy or two of mine and say, okay, you guys need to hold my feet to the fire. And I think a couple of people will be happy to publicly ridicule me if I don't do what I'm supposed to be doing. And the second thing that I'm going to do is start putting together a course and outlining and executing on at least 3 sessions that I know how to teach.
Wow, what an amazing action step Kenny laid out for us there. And that's really what it's all about, guys. It's figuring out exactly what you need to do next and doing that thing. I know a lot of you out there who are listening to the podcast today are overwhelmed. You see all of these things and steps that you have to take to get to the promised land. But here's the deal. You can't get there if you don't take the first step, the next step, and take action and get those things done. You don't want to be sitting around wanting to win. You don't want to be dreaming forever. You want to be doing today. And we would love to help you do that inside of the Flip Your Life community. Maybe you can jump in and be Kenny's accountability partner, or maybe you need an accountability partner. You can find them inside of the Flip Your Life community. We actually have a 30-day free trial. You can sign up right now and you can go in and you can check out all of our training. You can go into our forums. You can check those out. You can ask questions, and you can hang out with me and Jocelyn twice a month live on member Q&As. Do that over at flippedlifestyle.com/free and start your 30-day free trial today. All right, Kenny, man, that is all the time that we have for today. Listen, I know it was kind of scary coming on the show because you've been here a couple of years. You're like, I got to go out there and tell people I haven't done anything. But that was just so brave, and we really appreciate that because there are lots of people listening right now who are in the Flip Your Life community and have not taken that next step. There's a lot of people who haven't even joined the community and haven't started, and they're going to get a lot of inspiration just hearing your courage today. So thank you so much for sharing your story and for coming on the show.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. This was great.
All right, guys, before we go, we love to close every single one of our shows with a verse from the Bible. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation in business and in life from the Bible. And we're super excited because Kenny has a verse that he wants to share with you guys today. So, Kenny, take it away.
Sure, yeah. It's in 2 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, and it's verse 8 and 9. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.
And why is that verse important to you, Kenny?
What it tells me is that I don't always have to be strong. I don't always need to know what the next answer is. I don't even need to know what the next step is. God will make sure that if I put in the work, he'll make sure that the results are there.
Wow, what a powerful verse, guys. Listen, we don't ever know the end result. We don't ever know how things will turn out. We only have one choice. Do the thing. Take the next step and see what happens. We will be here for you every single step of the way. But that is all the time that we have for this week. So until we see you again, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to live your life. See you.
Bye.
I cannot believe that I get to use this proverb that I read the other day. Japanese proverb. No, Jocelyn. This is legit.
I get this. I get this.
This is totally legit. I'm telling you. Like, hold on. Is this one?
Jocelyn, my wife, does the same thing.
I feel her pain.
Please
I do.
let me